The funeral of Catherine, Duchess of Kent, was held on Tuesday, 16th of September 2025, at Westminster Cathedral in London. It marked the end of a chapter in royal history as family, friends, dignitaries, and the public gathered to bid farewell to a woman who had served the monarchy and the nation for more than 6 decades. The event was not only solemn but also historic. It was the first Catholic requiem mass for a senior royal in modern times. The funeral began at midday, with the arrival of the coffin draped in black and gold, carried into the cathedral under the watch of the Honorable Corps of Gentlemen-at-Arms. A choir sang traditional Catholic hymns, their voices rising in the vast interior of Westminster Cathedral, which is the mother church of Roman Catholics in England and Wales. The Duchess, who converted to Catholicism in 1994, had expressed her wish for a Catholic service. The Mass was led by Cardinal Vincent Nichols, the Archbishop of Westminster, assisted by senior clergy from the Catholic Church. The liturgy followed the Roman Rite, including readings from Scripture, prayers for the dead, and the Eucharist. Candles lined the cathedral's high altar, casting a glow across the congregation. Royal mourners were seated in the front rows, with the king occupying the central position. Behind him sat members of the royal household, alongside representatives of charities the Duchess had supported. The funeral was attended by King Charles III, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, who represented the monarchy in full strength. The Queen, Camilla, was absent due to illness, with Buckingham Palace confirming her withdrawal earlier that day. Catherine drew particular attention for her tribute to the late Duchess. She wore a black ensemble and the Japanese pearl choker necklace once belonging to Queen Elizabeth II, a symbolic gesture of continuity between generations. At the end of the service, she was seen curtsying deeply to the king and exchanging a kiss on the cheek, a moment that drew notice as a sign of unity and familial affection. Prince Andrew was also present but left discreetly after the service, avoiding the attention of photographers gathered outside. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Princess Royal, and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester were in attendance as well, ensuring broad representation across the extended royal family. The choice of Westminster Cathedral was significant. As Supreme Governor of the Church of England, the King's participation in a Catholic Mass represented a historic moment of interfaith respect. Though the monarch did not take communion, his presence signaled recognition of the Duchess's personal faith. This was the first time in more than 300 years that a royal funeral had been conducted in accordance with Catholic rites. It marked a milestone in Britain's evolving religious landscape, given the long history of division between Catholics and Anglicans. During the Mass, a series of tributes were read aloud. The Duke of Kent, Edward, paid tribute to his late wife's quiet dignity, kindness, and devotion to family and service. He recalled their marriage in 1961 and her decision to dedicate much of her later life to charity and teaching. Representatives from Future Talent, the music charity she co-founded, also spoke. They remembered her passion for encouraging young musicians and her belief that opportunity should be available to all, regardless of background. A student from the program performed a solo violin piece in her honor. Members of the royal family did not speak publicly during the Mass, but Prince William and Catherine released a joint statement earlier in the week. They described the Duchess as a much-missed member of the family whose warmth and service will be remembered by all who knew her. Outside Westminster Cathedral, crowds gathered behind barriers to watch the arrival of the royal family. Some carried flowers, which were later placed at the foot of the cathedral steps. Others applauded quietly as the coffin was carried inside. Television coverage was broadcast nationally, with commentary focusing on the historic nature of the Mass and the Duchess's unique place within the royal family. Social media posts reflected a mixture of mourning and admiration for her long life of service. Born Catherine Lucy Mary Worsley in 1933, the Duchess married Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, in 1961. She became a working royal, supporting the monarch at official events and patronizing a wide range of charities. She was best known for her work in education and music. In the 1980s, she trained as a teacher and taught in schools in Hull, often under the name Mrs. Kent, to avoid drawing attention. Later, she co-founded Future Talent, a charity that supports young musicians from disadvantaged backgrounds. Her conversion to Catholicism in 1994 was a significant moment in royal history. While the decision was deeply personal, it was also symbolic, breaking with centuries of tradition. It made her the first senior royal to convert to Catholicism since the 18th century. Despite stepping back from public duties in 2002, the Duchess continued to support her charities and maintained close ties with the royal family. She was regarded as compassionate, modest, and devoted to service. Messages of condolence were sent from political leaders, both in the United Kingdom and abroad. The Prime Minister praised her decades of service to the nation and her deep commitment to causes that changed lives. Leaders from the Commonwealth also sent statements, noting her contributions to education and culture. Given the scale of the event, security was extensive. Roads around Westminster Cathedral were closed, with police and royal protection officers stationed at every entrance. Sniffer dogs and plainclothes officers patrolled the area, while aerial surveillance monitored the proceedings. Inside, guests were carefully screened. Among the attendees were senior figures from the government, ambassadors, and representatives of charities. Seating arrangements reflected both protocol and personal relationships. Following the Mass, the coffin was taken in procession to a private burial at Windsor, where the Duchess was interred near other members of the royal family. Only close relatives attended this part of the ceremony, which was closed to the public. Flowers left at Westminster Cathedral were collected and distributed to hospitals and hospices in accordance with the Duchess's wishes. As Britain reflected on the life of the Duchess of Kent, much was made of her humility. Unlike some royals, she did not seek attention. Instead, she pursued causes that mattered to her personally. Former students remembered her as a teacher who treated them like equals. Musicians spoke of her encouragement and the opportunities she helped create. Her death marked the end of an era for the Kent branch of the royal family. Married to the Queen's first cousin, she had lived through the reign of Elizabeth II, the transition to Charles III, and decades of national change. The funeral of Catherine, Duchess of Kent, was both a moment of personal grief for the royal family and an event of historic significance. The Catholic Requiem Mass, attended by the King, Prince William, and the Princess of Wales, underscored her unique place in royal history. She will be remembered for her devotion to music, education, and charity, as well as for the quiet strength she brought to her role within the monarchy. In death, as in life, she bridged tradition and change, leaving a legacy of service, faith, and compassion.